Rust. It's a tough game with quite an intense learning curve, and if anything, instead of telling you how to play the game, I should probably just tell you to uninstall it and refund it now. There's no end to the game. There's no beating the Ender Dragon or saving the princess. All you get at the end of the week is everything being wiped, and that 150 hours that you spent on that week alone in Rust is just gone. The first thing that you're going to have to do is choose a server to play on, and I would suggest choosing a server with as many people on it as possible. Therefore, there's a greater chance of finding someone that's going to help you out. You'll figure out pretty quickly that everyone in Rust is super friendly and willing to help. Once you load in and spawn on the beach, have a gaze, have a look around, and then look at your character model. Hopefully you are happy with it, because if you're not, that's too bad. You're stuck with it. I think my character model is honestly a good representation of myself. At least I like to tell myself that. Run around and look for a tree. Try not to get stoned to death by any other nakeds on the beach. I know it's difficult, but I'm sure you'll manage. Hit tree. You see the red X's? Yeah, they make it go speedy. Run around and look for a stone node. Hits rock with rock, get rock. Craft a pickaxe and a hatchet. Get more wood, get more stone. Craft a pointy stick to defend yourself. You're gonna need enough wood to craft a tool cupboard, a door, a lock, a building plan, and a hammer, and then have a little bit extra to build with. Collect hemp bushes along the way to get cloth. This can be used to craft useful things such as a sleeping bag and a bow. Use your building plan to place down some foundations and some walls. Upgrade them with your hammer, and don't forget to place down your TC and your door. Also, remember to lock them. Make sure that the walls of your base are rotated the correct way. There's a hard side and a soft side for all the walls, and you want the hard side to be facing the exterior of the base, and therefore making it harder to raid you. To stop your base from decaying, place any additional resources that it may require inside the TC. To set your respawn point here, craft a sleeping bag and place it on the floor. You can name it whatever you want. You should probably put a second door on the front of your base, and if you can't figure out why, then I would suggest giving up now. Craft some small boxes to put your extra loot in, and then head out to go find an animal to kill. You're going to need to kill the animal for the animal fat, which can then be crafted into low-grade fuel for a furnace, and then you can use the furnace to smelt metal ore and sulfur ore. Head back out now and run down the roads looking for trash piles. Break the barrels and open the crates on these trash piles to get scrap and other components. At this point, what you want is scrap, so head to any monument and recycle all the components you've gotten. Most monuments have a recycler, so if you go to one that doesn't have one, that's just plain unlucky, and I'm sorry. Once you've got enough scrap, craft a level 1 workbench. Slap that puppy down, and if you open it up straight away, you can look at the new tech tree mechanic that was recently added. You get blueprints for items by spending scrap slowly and purchasing your way to the item you want, or you can do it by finding the individual items in the world and researching them at a research table. Once you got the blueprint for an item, you can craft the item at a workbench. There's levels of workbenches. Every successive level allows you to craft better items. However, the higher level items makes it more expensive to research. You can buy different modes of transport from specific vendors across the map. The ranch and large barn offer to buy horses, the fishing village provide boats, and the bandit camp you can buy helicopters. These areas, along with the outposts, are all safe zones where PvP can't happen. Now that you've got the start down, you're going to want to take some loot from monuments and also from other players. Keycards and fuses are used to loot otherwise restricted areas of the monuments, and I suggest searching up specific tutorials for certain monuments keycard puzzles. There are 3 tiers of keycard, green, blue, and red, but not all monuments have a use for all the cards. You'll work out pretty quickly which monuments are better for you to loot, but if you're a solo, I'd steer well clear of military tunnels and launch site. Occasionally, airdrops will fall from planes that contain some decent loot. This is probably your best bet at getting a gun at this point, so I'd suggest going for them if you can. Every few hours, the attack helicopter spawns in the world. The helicopter's going to shoot you if you have a ranged weapon in your hotbar, however, a bow is fine. It's also going to shoot you if you're wearing more than 2 pieces of clothing, which, now that I say it, it's actually quite a strange reason to open fire on someone. But we'll move on. Larger groups will shoot down the helicopter to gain high tier loot. But if you're a naked solo who is watching this video, you probably don't need to worry about shooting down the helicopter at this point. There's also a cargo ship that circles the island every few hours. It contains decent loot, however it's guarded by NPCs known as scientists, so proceed at your own risk. Other events on the map include the Chinook crate, which is dropped at a random monument every couple of hours, and it's marked on your map. The crate takes 15 minutes to open after activating, so if you get there first, you're basically just a sitting duck waiting for your death most of the time. Larger, more experienced groups will also destroy the Bradley tank that roams the launch site, but I wouldn't worry about it too much at this point. It's just another way to get high tier loot. Once you've settled in, you can eventually work your way up to raid someone. Flamethrowers are useful for burning through wood, and you can also use an Eoka or shotgun to blast through wooden doors with handmade shells. This is the lowest tier of raiding, and once you progress further, try raiding someone with satchels or explosives. And there you have it. There's your beginner's guide to Rust in 2021. I hope you learnt something, otherwise you just wasted 5.5 minutes of your life. And that's coming from someone who's never wasted their time on the internet.